you can't get the outcome, the light, the magic, the progress, the moving forward, the enlightenment without the dark, without the death.
Welcome to the Words of Wisdom podcast. This is the place to be to raise the consciousness within in order to create a life and business of ease, flow, and freedom. This podcast offers inspiring stories, strategies, and special guests to help you become your most aligned self. I am Minerva Maharaj, a former NBA Toronto Raptors dancer turned ICF accredited spiritual life coach, founder of Goddess of Wisdom Spiritual Life Coaching, and Star Seed Academy coach training. My soul's mission is to show you the impossible is truly possible. Thank you so much for joining me here today. Let's get to awakening your soul's wisdom. Hello, everybody. Welcome to this special episode of Words of Wisdom. Today, I have a very special guest joining me on this episode, on this live recording. It is one of my favorite coaches. It is my current coach, Stesha Reukauf, and she's a womb awakening trailblazer. She's the founder of the Embodied Awakening Certification Program, and she's the host of Own Your Feminine Power, and she is a life changer. I'm so blessed to work with you. I am so honored to have you on my podcast today, Stesha. Thank you for being here.
Hello, my dear. I am so happy to be here, and just like getting goosebumps of what we're going to talk about today.
So I went ahead and I let everyone know a little bit about you and how much I love you, but they're going to experience your magic in our conversation. And in these conversations, I don't really go back to basics. I just love going deep into it, and let's just have a deep, raw conversation. And when I think of you, you're so true to your word, but feminine energy, healing, awakening, magic, just overflow. That's what comes to mind when I think of you. So thank you for being here today. So let's start off the conversation. Can you share with me your raw awakening story of womb healing and awakening?
Oh my gosh. So I'll speed it up, the pre-awakening version. I started my life in a very masculine household, very emotionally unavailable, suppressed, very wounded feminine dynamics within my household. And that just led me to take action after action, decision after decision. Straight A student in school, dual degree in engineering, working up the corporate ladder as an engineer, until one day it just hit me like a pile of bricks in the face. Like, I can't do this forever. I'm burnt out. I'm gaining weight. I have all these hormonal issues. I have this like weird disordered eating body image stuff going on. And it just hit me like that was my first awakening. And it was not easy. It was not fun, because once I saw that there was something more to life, I could not go back. This scared the shit out of my husband, by the way. Yes. He's like, you can't quit your job. Like, what are you doing? What are you talking about? Right? And this thing went off in my mind, like, I'm meant for more. And so it just took me on this swirling path, this upwards spiral, this vortex really, that got me into nutrition coaching CrossFit, like really diving deep into the health and wellness space, but still very much from this masculine approach. I'm getting there, but I'm not quite there yet. And it wasn't until my fertility journey that I really started to like spiritually awaken. And this is when it all came crashing down on me again, where I realized that health is more than just like the physical things we're putting in our body and like physical movement. And this awakening for me happened when I realized like I was in this very dark night of the soul. I've experienced a miscarriage, something that I would never thought would ever happen to me, because I'm healthy, right? And I'm knowledgeable, and why would that ever happen to me? And it was a perfect thing to happen for me because it awakened me into, wow, there's so much more to health, to being, to vitality, to this life on earth than what meets the eye. And this is where I really started to dig deep into, I would say, like childhood trauma and really healing on an energetic level. And I've never seen such radical shifts in my being, in my mindset, in the way that I felt, in the way that I saw myself, in the way that I was showing up in relationships. I was hooked, I was addicted. And I knew that I wanted to keep going on this healing journey, but also to bring it into my own coaching practice. And so as I'm awakening myself, I'm immediately integrating it into my coaching. And this has been a theme, like stepping into something, powerfully changing and shifting my reality, and then immediately bringing it into my coaching. And so that has really been the journey of awakening. And, you know, moving from just one step further, moving from the, you know, trauma healing to more of this understanding of there's this feminine energy and masculine energy dynamic on the planet. And we've all been raised in this very wounded masculine society. And we're being raised by wounded masculine mothers and wounded masculine fathers with suppressed feminine energy. And I started connecting the dots and thinking, oh my God, there's a reason why. There's a reason why I'm meant to be here and I've taken this path, is to realize that women's health and you know, this goes for mental health, emotional health, physical health, relational. It all comes down to this suppressed feminine energy and this wounded masculine energy. Every dis-ease that you see is rooted somehow in this dynamic. Every relationship issue, codependency, etc., is rooted in this dynamic. Every lack of self-worth, of confidence, it's rooted in this dynamic. And so womb awakening, this modality, womb healing, actually found me, as all of the other modalities, to another awakening of like this feminine empowerment, truly on an energetic level, and what that means to embody your feminine, awaken into your feminine, and like what that actually means aside from what our society has told us what being in your feminine is. So that in a nutshell has taken us to where we are today.
And I love the word, that word that just stood out to me was the word for me. And all of this, like the miscarriage, seeing the parents, that the dark night of the souls that kept coming up was happening for you, for us. And it was always leading us. And I could relate to everything you're saying. It was leading you to the awakening, and awakening to step fully more into who you are and what it is you're going to teach and all of that. The way I look at it right now is like there is a calling for feminine leaders, and I'm noticing more the rise of feminine consciousness and the healing of the masculine in our society, in our health, in our money, in everything. Are you noticing that trend as well? And do you feel like you're one of the chosen ones to lead the way?
Oh, absolutely. I talk about this all the time. I'm like, the feminine is awakening on a collective level. Like, get ready for this. Like, your opportunity is now. And, you know, just like you said, women are feeling the call. And it really truly feels like just this knowing and this pull. And similar to what I experienced, you know, in that cubicle as an engineer, just this like, I can't go back. I can't unsee and unfeel.
It's so funny to me to think you were an engineer. And when I see with anyone who's in the healing and leadership transformational world, it's so funny. All their stories were just completely something that is not who we are. We just try to do right and, you know, follow the rules of our parents and society for success. And clearly that is not the only path to success for some people. Yes, but for the chosen ones, like who are walking this path of transformation and healing and awakening, also means that we need to do that work ourselves. It's not like, oh, boop, you're the chosen one and here's all the, you know, goodness your way. There is a lot of deep, deep work.
Well, and it's kind of like when I first started to become a coach, it's like I just took all of my, you know, employee wounded masculine need to prove and succeed. I just brought that all with me
Absolutely.
into my
Same here.
coaching business. Like
Yeah.
there was
Yeah.
no awakening. So yeah, and there's a reason why, the certification that I lead is called Embodied Awakening, because this awakening process is very much staring down the barrel, looking straight at your shadow and the shame and the guilt that has been placed on us either through, generations past in our personal lives, and to really feel it. And it's painful and it's uncomfortable and it's messy. And what I see a lot of trends and like kind of new agey spirituality where it's just think positive and feel positive in order to manifest. But again, we're not actually awakening. We're just disassociating even further from our bodies. The biggest issue that I see, you talk about like you need to become this transformation, this awakening, is that we're just disembodied. What does that mean to be disembodied? We're operating through our head. We are the mind. We are the thoughts instead of being in our body. The way that I explain this, and this is like the new paradigm of what I'm talking about, of when you actually awaken into your truth as an energy being, no longer are you identifying as the mind, and you're identifying as energy with a body, with a mind, as these beautiful tools to interpret your energy. And so when you learn to live from that new paradigm, from your truth, you now become the creator of your life. And sometimes, I know you get this and I know you teach this, but like basic manifestation doesn't communicate this properly. It's just another do this affirmation in order to get. Shift your energy in order to get the physical thing. That's not what we're doing here. We are
That was me.
yeah, exactly. It was me too. And then we wonder why, like, oh, I've been shifting my mindset and I've been journaling my affirmations and I've been creating vision boards for 5 years now. Where is it? And it's because we actually haven't become it. And the secret is you don't become it in order to get it. You become it because your becoming is your purpose here on earth. Your becoming, your awakening is your whole entire purpose.
This is why you're here.
It's exactly why you're here. It's not to get the fancy house and the car and manifest all the money. Those are delicious things. We are sensual beings, but it comes as a byproduct, not something that we need, but something that is aligning around us because of our own awakening and embodiment.
It's aligning to us because of our own awakening and embodiment. And to add to what you were saying about the full embodiment, and I know you teach this, but I teach this, but you even helped me deepen into that, even to my awakening, even the work that we do. And to add even on to what you were saying, that there's always these new levels of awakening, but the whole concept of like, think this way and you will get it, or do these actions and you will get it, or just vibrate at that level and you will get it, which is, there's some micro truths to that, but it's not the whole truth. And it's about that full embodied, mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually. And I'll share a personal take on this with you that you actually helped me tap into, where I was like, Stesha, like, I'm doing all the things. Why isn't it happening? And I remember I think it was one of my ugliest crying sessions with you, where you're like, have you sat with your emotions? And yes, but I would sit with it to fix it, to get it. And that was since I've like just sunk into that even more, like literally like quicksand is just what I needed to hear. I'm getting tingles right now. Things open up because of the full embodiment. When your mind is aligned, your body is aligned, your emotions, your spirits, your energy is all aligned. That is full embodiment. And that's where the quote unquote magic, or when people say things fall into place, but like you were saying, the external starts matching the internal.
Absolutely. Yeah. And, you know, another way of putting this is when you are doing this awakening process, right? And when we're approaching it from the old paradigm, which is kind of like this wounded masculine, patriarchal, like doing to get, and we're approaching it from that, and we're just, oh, I just need to, I'm feeling this emotional low. Let me fix it, right? Maybe I'm launching something. Maybe I'm starting a business. Maybe I'm going to go speak on stage and I'm feeling a certain way. Let me go do a meditation to fix it. Maybe I'm feeling stressed or anxious. Let me go do a breath work practice in order to go fix it. We're approaching our symptoms through that old paradigm. Let me just, again, it's the pill for every ill. It's the supplement for every symptom. It's that old paradigm of thinking of, oh, my body's acting, my mind, my emotions acting up. Let me suppress it, fix it, make it go away. And the new way of approaching this is, oh, my soul is speaking to me, right? That anxiety that you feel, that tension in your shoulders, the ulcer in your stomach, right? That feeling of fear, of kind of neediness and overwhelm in your business. That's your soul, your energy speaking to you that there's something here for you. There's something here for you to drop into, to accept, to own, to claim. This is what healing is all about. It's to make whole, not to fix, not to play whack-a-mole with symptoms. And the way that we make whole is, and I could just like feel it in my body. It's this like opening the closet door and seeing our little 5-year-old self who was, you know, first ashamed of this or that or embarrassed. And you're going in and you're sitting with her and you're just hearing her and loving her. And, you know, through that space holding, if you've ever done this with a toddler, it's magic. With that space holding, we're not trying to fix what's wrong. What do you need? You're fine. You're okay. Like, let's go fix it. It's, I know, I'm here. It's okay to feel this way. What naturally happens? They cry a little bit, they let it all out, and then, okay, I'm ready to go play now. They've processed it. They've processed it. And so that's exactly what we're doing when we're healing. We're opening the closet door and we're seeing that little version of ourselves and we're holding her, we're creating space, we're loving her, we're accepting her for who she is. And that natural process, it evokes wholeness. And when you step into wholeness, it's like, that's the increase in vibration.
And
that's the shift in perspective. That's where new information floods down and you're like, oh my God, I have the idea for this. Oh my God, I can do this. Oh my God. So
yeah, absolutely. And when you think about the toddler, like I have 2 little ones, and you're exactly right. Like there's a difference between like, okay, observing and holding space with like, let's hurry this along. Like, how long is this meltdown gonna last? Versus, it's hard, I get it. Versus really holding space without the rush for it to go or fix and get over it. And holding, I always say observe from a neutral and whole space because the toddler can feel it. The other person, clients, when we're coaching clients, they can tell if you're present. They can tell if you are genuine with any offerings or if there's judgment or neutrality to it. So I really, and this is something I do with my inner child, is observe it with that neutrality. And there's moments where I'm like, all right, let's hurry this along, and I catch myself. But I think the magic is, like you said, is like when you can hold that space, it does soften, it relinquishes, it lets go, and then you can, you feel that shift vibrationally and you get that aha, you get whatever, then you're ready to go. But it is a practice, right? Like it's not just a one and done, it's a practice every day, possibly all day. The more you do it, the more you soften into it, the more you're not in control, the more the emotions or the trauma or all, the heaviness is in control of you, like the emotion's not in control of you, you can be in control of it when you really do approach it from a neutral, whole space.
Yeah, 100%. It's this, the other way I see the awakening process is, and this is such a feminine healing process, It's death and rebirth. Death and rebirth happen at the same exact time. And so we miss out on this in our culture so much. We fear the death, we fear the dark feminine, we fear the void, the going inward to heal, to process, right? We just want the light, we just want the outcome. And so you can't get the outcome, the light, the magic, the progress, the moving forward, the enlightenment without the dark, without the death. And so I see, you know, a lot of women, they'll get stuck in this like, well, let me just think about feeling it. Let me just think about processing it. Let me just talk about it and then push on and move through, because we're so afraid to just take that time to lean back, to trust the process, to feel in our body, to experience that darkness. And I'm still scared of it, even though it's happening on a daily basis at this point.
Because you're about to give birth to your baby.
The death and rebirth. Exactly. And, you know, just, exactly. When you bring that up, like, look outward in terms of, you know, we're so uncomfortable around death. We don't know how to grieve. We don't know how to process. We're so uncomfortable around birth. We don't know how to be in our body and be in the sensations of that. We're numbing it out. We're dissociating. So everything is connected. And when you can truly appreciate and see this death and rebirth cycle for what it is, you're committed to it. You love it. You love the dark, the winter, the void, just as much as the summer, as the growth, because you know that each one is beautifully connected. You can't have one without the other. And so you're just so committed to both of them and see the value in both.
And I want to hear more about the Embodied Awakening program. But before we get to that, I would love to know, what is the balanced or healthy masculine and healthy feminine look like when they're in harmony, or when one is more in lead, in charge than the other? What does that look like in a quote unquote realistic world, in the world we are really building here?
Oh, this is one of my favorite topics, because I love to bring it into like a tangible, practical form that we can like grasp and play with. So most women will say, I'm too in my masculine to find love, to be a certain way in my relationship. I'm too masculine in my business. What they're truly saying and what they truly mean is, I'm too in my wounded masculine.
Amen.
Wounded masculine. Well, let's just start with, what is the divine masculine? Divine masculine, divine feminine are archetypes of energy. They are not gender specific. We each have our own unique balance of feminine and masculine energy. It's required. It's absolutely required. In our society as a whole, we have suppressed the divine feminine, and we have raised the volume of the wounded masculine. That is what we see in men and in women. Men and women are both embodying this archetype right now. And it's why you see women who are forcing, pushing, operating like tiny men. And it's why we see men going out there and trying to get power, control, domination, right? It's why there's war and violence, domestic violence. There's no divine, I shouldn't say no divine. There's not a picture of divine masculine in our culture. And so divine masculine, you can think of as the container, the foundation. It provides the safety. It provides the security. It's this feeling of being fully taken care of and supported and encouraged. It's, you know, when you get home from a hard day at work, it's your man coming over and going, let me make you dinner. To give you a massage, pick anything you want to watch on TV tonight. You're incredible. Yeah. We're going to get through this. You're amazing. This doesn't mean anything. And we're just going to make it all about you tonight. Like, that's what the divine masculine is. Okay. And so if you take a look at like, okay, I don't have that in my relationship. That's one thing. Do you have that within yourself?
Yes. Preach it. Preach it. Say for the people in the back.
When you get home from a hard day, do you have that voice in your head? Or is it that patriarchal wounded masculine? You should have said this. You should have done more. You're so stupid. You're so lazy. Like, what are they going to think of you? Overthink, over control, over this, over that. That's the narrative that we have running in our head. We have the wounded masculine running in our head. When we don't feel safe and secure and supported within ourselves, we're not even talking about in our careers or financially or in our relationships, just within ourselves, there's no way for the divine feminine to come online, because the divine feminine needs to know that when she leans back, she's being held. That when she goes and steps boldly towards her vision and she goes to create it, that there's support and resources there holding her in that, because she can't do it all. And so, when we talk about building businesses, especially, even just like having a really sacred relationship, having these two dynamics within yourself, that's how you create a really balanced, beautiful business. And, going back to feminine leadership, what I see so often on Instagram is like this feminine leadership, like I'm just going to show up in a corset and take bubble baths and orgasm my way into, $50,000 months. That's not what's actually happening behind the scenes. No one's, it's not sexy to talk about, oh, by the way, I did all of this healing work around the wounded masculine so that I have the divine masculine within. So now I can be in my feminine, I can be intuitive and magnetic through my heart and powerful creator through my womb. Like, we don't talk about the foundation. So that's kind of how I see it happening. And, womb awakening and feminine embodiment are two modalities that I personally have used to claim this for myself, within my business, within my relationship, within motherhood. Oh my goodness. and still awakening into that, almost as if there's layers and layers and layers within my womb, around my heart, where it's like I come across a trigger in my relationship or a trigger in motherhood. Something triggers me within my business and I go, ooh, another layer, another wound. Let's go in, let's heal. And then when that's stripped away, it's like a new level of divine masculine is meeting divine feminine. And I'm embodied in that. And we just keep going.
So beautiful. So tell us what, I'm assuming all of your personal experience and your modalities all in one space in this Embodied Awakening certification. So can you tell us a little bit more about what that all entails, what that experience is like?
Yes. So, there was this epiphany that came across me sometime last year of like, I need to teach other coaches, healers, practitioners to not only teach them about these modalities, but to take them through their own awakening journey with these modalities. Because like we've been talking about, the era of learning and regurgitating information as a coach, as a practitioner, it's over. It's over. And you are your own embodiment of your work, of your client's transformation. This is what does the selling for you. I hear so often, oh my God, the imposter syndrome, or I don't know if I can hold this space, or what do I need to talk about on my content today? It's like, if we were embodied in what we are all about, there would be none of this. There would be no imposter syndrome. There would be no fear. There would be no wondering, what content do I create? I digress. So taking them through like this need to really take coaches, healers, leaders through this embodied awakening, because again, there's always more. And there's this beautiful process that, that I've found and that I've brought through my clients and myself. And it's like, this needs to come through and I need to share this with the world. And it's teaching them these very empowering modalities, such as energy healing, womb awakening, feminine embodiment, and bringing them to life, bridging the gap between the physical 3D and the energetic 5D, where we're not just in the etheric, the woo, and we're actually bridging the gap of like, how do we make this tangible? My clients is experiencing physical symptoms. In my past, I was a fertility coach. So I worked with women experiencing endometriosis, fibroids, PCOS, autoimmunity, on and on and on and on. And every single time, these symptoms were rooted on an energetic level. And so they would try and try and try through all the different medicines, functional medicine, Western medicine, holistic medicine, and nothing would work. They weren't getting better, and they certainly weren't getting pregnant. And it's because no one took them to the level of where that symptom originates and source, which is in the energy field. It's your soul communicating to you. We're out of balance. Look at me, heal me. Open the closet door, heal your inner child. And so being able to bridge that gap, whether you are a women's health practitioner, a fertility coach, a doula, midwife, birth educator, yoga teacher, therapist especially, chiropractor, acupuncturist, we already have our space of knowing, of mastery. What I see missing though is a true embodiment of you as an energy being. Not just doing energy healing, but you being an energy being, right? Making that shift where we're not just doing an adjustment on a client, but we're actually empowering them with an entirely new paradigm of being. I see, and I could talk about this for days, but when we look at, a lot of these different practitioners, they're operating through westernized principles. So for example, being a chiropractor and understanding like the energetics of that, it's lost. Like these old principles are lost because we've westernized it. Oh, my back hurts. Let me just adjust it. Okay, you can go on to living your unfulfilling job, eating, toxic nutrition and being the same, living from the same trauma, etc. Like nothing has actually changed. And this is an opportunity. So many women especially are coming to these alternative healthcare practitioners looking for that. And we're getting met with an adjustment, an herb, a tincture.
Yeah.
And so this was, there's just so much opportunity to, be a practitioner, a coach, a healer who really gets it. Because like we've mentioned, the feminine awakening is here and women want that something more. They want the embodiment. They want the awakening into their own power and their self-healing capacity. They don't want the tincture. And I'm not saying that we can't add herbs and tinctures and all of those things are so beautiful to support our physical body, but we've got to go deeper. And so that's really what this certification is about. It's a paradigm shift. It's a self-healing course. It's your own embodied awakening. And you're also getting the tools and the mastery and the facilitation skills to bring your own clients through
and I'm
this.
sure
Also feminine leadership, like that's just naturally
yes,
going to be a byproduct.
but I was just gonna say, like, whether you're doing this to like start a business or deepen your own business, expand that, it's like you are going through the embodiment yourself and the mastery yourself, and you becoming that is what you're really sharing with the world and what's going to be attracting people into your world. So how can
and that's what makes it
so how can our listeners learn more about your course? I mean, I will be leaving the links below for anyone who wants to register. You're starting in September, but I'll let you share a little bit more on how they can get enrolled.
Yes. Okay. Well, if anyone here watching this, be sure to reach out to Minerva, because she is going to have special links so that, you know, she can be affiliated with you signing up, and we can just connect that way. But yeah, right now our first inaugural round begins September 13th. But we are currently doing something so fun. If you're new to my world, I am currently pregnant, 37 weeks pregnant to be exact. So we're doing something really fun called the pre-baby pre-sale special. It's a mouthful. So basically we're doing a pre-sale price, which is the lowest price it'll ever be until
I
baby
love
is
that.
born. So it's kind of one of those things where is baby coming tomorrow? Is she coming 3 weeks from now? We don't know. So if you're really interested in this, definitely reach out, ask any questions. Our enrollment page is packed with, you know, frequently asked questions, as well as the time commitment, the investment. There's also a section if you are a current practitioner or if you're aspiring to be a coach of some sort. I have listed how you can use the certification and the modalities that you become a master in, how you can apply those to your current practice or your business that you want to aspire to open. So that just gives you an idea, like practical idea of how you can bring this in to your business immediately. And, you know, if you have any other questions, you can message me on Instagram. We can have a candid conversation.
So good. Stesha, I love you. I love this conversation. I could talk to you forever. So thank you so much for being here today. And one last thing I like to do with any of our guests that are on my podcast are, what are your last words of wisdom for our listeners?
Ooh, I'm going to circle it back to where we started and say that everything truly is here for you. And, you know, this can be the hardest thing to hear, especially when we're going through that dark night of the soul.
Mm-hmm.
But the majority of women who have come into my world, whether it be through fertility or business, and experiencing their rock bottom and their darkest night of the soul, they have come out on the other side, clear in their purpose, convicted in their purpose, burning with passion, so clear in what they're meant for and who they are here and meant to be. So if that's you, or if you're on the other side of that and you're just feeling the pull into something more, that is true, that is deep. Trust that and just take one step. You're never going to have the full clear picture of your path.
Yeah.
It's not how it works. You just need to take that first step. Take that first step into whatever direction that pull is taking you.
So beautiful. And to add to that, it really is true. It's happening for you, and it deepens you more into you and trusting yourself more. And the more you just, when everything is just happening and seems like it's going off the rails, it's actually calling you back to go deeper and deeper into yourself, to be more you and create from that space. So yeah. Thank you so much, Stesha.